Hey everyone, and welcome to Terra Historian, the channel where we cover all aspects of Arknights' lore. In this video, we'll be talking about some of the underrated factions in Arknights. We've all come to know the major factions that we've come to interact with, like that of Rhodes Islands, Penguin Logistics, and Rhine Labs, but there are plenty of lesser known groups that play a role in Terra's ever-expanding universe. So in this video, we'll take a look at some of those underrated factions, learn a little bit more about who they are, and how they relate to the rest of the Arknights story. First introduced in the Heart of the Surging Flame event, Alive Until Sunset is an all-female heavy metal band signed with the Monster Siren Records label. Their members consist of Alti the bassist, Aya the vocalist, Dan the drummer, and Frost the guitarist. Although the band members are all seen as Aegirian, they are actually Farinmonts, who had left the ocean and took on human forms due to the Seaborn's expansion. Their special relationship as Farinmonts from the sea adds another perspective to the Seaborn narrative in Arknights. Heart of the Surging Flame gave us a brief glimpse of what the Seaborn were through Alti's perspective, describing them as fundamentally different from regular Aegirians, and questioning how the Seaborn came to be directly to Calcit. The band also served a supporting role in the events of Sultifera Navis, bringing the key to the Eye of Iberia to Gladia, while also planning a Grand Faro evacuation contingency with the Inquisition in case Calcit and the Abyssal Hunters failed to drive back the Seaborn. Most notably, it was Frost who used her music to control some of the Seaborn in a conflict against the Aegirian cultists and to guide Yordi's ship to the Abyssal Hunters' location. Azazel is an Euripathy clinic based in Chernobog, led by Heyker. Due to Ursus's general perspective against those with Euripathy, the Azazel clinic had to be clandestine in their objective to provide their service to the infected. Their unique technology to suppress Euripathy led them to become a major support pillar to the hidden Ursine infected. Although their goals were similar, Azazel had once refused to work alongside Rhodes Island, even going so far as to maintaining neutrality during the Chernobog incident. Heyker wasn't the original leader of Azazel. It was described that Azazel's former leader had betrayed the organization and injured many infected at the clinic. After Heyker intervened, the former leader left Heyker with the clinic along with their daughter Neon. During the Chernobog incident, the clinic was looted and destroyed, but its members were able to escape unscathed, with Heyker later joining Rhodes Island. The King's Wand is a group of Victorian scholars focusing their efforts on research around originium and the propagation of knowledge for the general population. They have 5 described alumni working for Foxtail, a non-government organization with close ties to the assuming counselor Angst. Out of these 5 members, SkyFire is the only member who has made an appearance, but King's Ward members Shichiyo and Shiro have been mentioned. The King's Ward originally had a hostile stance against the infected, as the actions of the reunion movement resulted in the death of the group's pet. However, after working with Rhodes Island, the group's perspective changed towards protecting the rights of the infected. Rusthammer is a blanket term for the loosely connected groups of people who reject modern Terra society, living in various no-man lands across the world. Originally condensed to the frontiers of Colombia, the faction has since spread to Victoria and Casimiras. Believing that modern society has weakened the Terrans and only caused divisions, they generally seek the destruction of any symbol of civilization. Equality, as the Rusthammer faction believes, can best be brought through violence. As they don't discriminate between infected and non-infected, their members are even comprised of former reunion members. The faction has no single leader, with how Rusthammer is mainly composed of smaller groups under the same banner. But the character Cannot Good Enough often acts as their middleman in trade and communications. Raytheon is a Colombian weapons manufacturing company. Their rise in prominence as a powerful entity is thanks to its co-founders, Henry Block, a small Gaulish noble, and Owen Brindley, a famous Colombian war hero. It was thanks to Henry's expertise and Owen's public influence that their influence grew to the size that it is today. Currently, Raytheon is led by Owen's son and Jessica's father, Bernie. Their current long-running collaborations include that with Blacksteel and Rhodes Island, with some operators such as Glossus and Coriseum acting as weapon testers for the company. The first 3 operational platforms of the Rhodes Island landship were designed in cooperation with Raytheon. Maylander acts similar to a spy agency for Columbia, with their influence in the main stories of Arknights being mostly from the shadows. Their main objectives are largely unknown save for what can be parsed from Tin Man and Hohayek's roles in Lone Trip, as well as Bobbing's involvement in the aftermath of the Victorian crisis. Maylander was founded by Celine Maylander, a Colombian pioneer who Tin Man befriended in the past. It has several branches including, but not limited to, historical preservation, medicine, security and defense, exploration, and child rights protection. Their child rights protection branch came into play during the notorious Logan water tank incident, where they shut down the entire facility and rescued abducted children. They have also been involved in several major events in Terra, such as the Infi Icefield expedition described in Integrated Strategies 4. From Bobbing's files, it is implied that the reason why Maylander was trying to find a way to Victorian territory was to smuggle Victorian-infected patients out of the country to perform inhumane experiments on them. While Maylander didn't succeed in getting into Victoria outside of Bobbing himself, the Colombian support that Vina rejected during the Parliament meeting is likely Maylander attempting to contact the Earl of March to smoothen their entry process. During Bobbing's planned dispatch, he found out that Maylander intended to send another of its unknown subsidiaries to Victoria. It was the discovery of new erypathy symptoms found within the Victorian-infected patients that Bobbing began to suspect Maylander's goal in relation to the Victorian-infected. The Armorless Union is a Casimiras-based secret military force of night assassins, originally formed during a period of political struggle with the rogue Casimiran Knights. The Armorless Union utilized special assassinations and guerrilla combat techniques to combat the highly trained rogue knights. At its highest ranks, the Armorless Union has 3 Darksteels, 2 Lazarites, and 1 Platinum, all of whom are master marksmen. The Platinum is someone who takes the lead to plan and guide the Union through large involved operations. The Lazarites were said to be excellent assassins and could kill any one target in Casimiras. Darksteels were a step above, with not much known about them outside of their terrifying presence within the event stories. Some examples of their actions include chasing Dagon Breacher as she fled from Casimiras after her 3rd major win, assassination attempts against the members of Pinus Sylvestris, and the kidnapping of Maria Neural. Although the Armorless Union acted in the direction of the Casimiras General Chamber of Commerce, such as dealing with the KGCC opposition, purging infected, and assassinating fellow corporate directors, they are not completely under its control. The balance of power where different influences within the KGCC tried to influence the Armorless Union allowed the group to break free from their subservience to the chamber and reinsert their own autonomy, ending with Roy directly assassinating every director in the KGCC board with connections to the Lazarites during a blackout. The Operator Platinum is our gateway into the Armorless Union, inheriting the title of Platinum after her predecessor was assassinated for attempting to flee the Armorless Union's influence. She herself participated in many of the Union's activities, including in an assassination attempt on the Doctor of Rhodes Island. The political upheaval at the end of Nearlight forced Platinum to attempt her own escape from the Armorless Union, in which she found safe harbor on the Rhodes Island landship. The Rose Riverside is the Vampire Court's intelligence network of spies. Having once helped Babel during the Kasdel Civil War, they are highly capable in not only their own work, but also in deception. It was founded by a vampire noble who followed Theresa's ideals, and although it was later disbanded after the fall of Babel, it was reformed again later in the narrative. As one of the founding members of this faction, Entelachia additionally acts like an undertaker, cleaning up after the failures of her sisters and tying up loose ends. During the Londinium incident, she helped destroy some of the Sanguine Arch's remaining altars and helped Milscar pave a way for the Paragon army to enter Londinium. Currently, she is in pursuit of a member of the faction who suddenly left Teresa's side during the events of the main story. The Pathfinders are a splinter faction who try to end the Lateran exclusivist attitude towards the non-sanctas and liberis in Laterano. They are held together by the idea that Laterano should end its exclusionary attitude towards non-sanctas, especially after witnessing how Laterano would refuse to accept non-sancta refugees. Initially, the leader has attempted to appeal to the Pope directly, but after the Pope showed the leader the law, they realized that it is impossible to bring everyone to salvation, and so they decided to alleviate others' suffering through other methods. In current events, the faction follows Andoin's guidance, even though he is not their formal leader. After the calamity, Andoin dissolves the faction following his own exile. And with that completes our brief look at some of the more underrated factions in Arknights. As you can see, many of these factions might not get as much screen time or might not be as well known as the factions that we all know and love today. Yet when they do appear within the stories of Arknights, many of these factions have just as big of a role to play as their larger, more well-known factions. Are there any other factions that we have missed or you might want to know a little bit more on? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and comment down below. We always appreciate your guys' support. With that, thank you for watching Terra Historian, and I'll see ya in the next video.